I discovered this when I wasn't looking for it. Success, it is easier to succeed than it is to fail. It's just easier on the opposite end.
I'm not gonna lie, I just simply didn't want to sit on the seat today. And as you can see, my seat doesn't have a back supporter. That's because I took it off. So yeah, I had to take it off. I kept slouching, slouching is not good for you. So having it like this allows me to just sit up straight and I just get to do my thing without any back problems. Do y'all remember when I made that video about quitting Instagram and then going on YouTube? Y'all remember that, right? Okay. So before that, I had quit Instagram, obviously. Quit Instagram. And I quit Instagram around May. Yeah, I quit Instagram around May. And I said to myself, you know what, I'm gonna change my life real well. I'm gonna be completely different. This is not gonna be the same Eli. So I took out a notepad and I wrote down everything I wanted to do. And the way I did it was I wrote down how to ruin my life in 1 year. I didn't do how to change my life. I did how to ruin my life. So I did everything I should do to ruin my life, and I looked at it and I just did the opposite. Instagram was on that list. It was something along the lines of stay on Instagram, 24 hours a day. So I did the opposite of that. I quit Instagram. At first, things were looking commendable. They were looking really well. And I thought to myself, okay, we're getting somewhere. Things are changing for me, my brain is rewiring. I'm seeing the world differently. I'm feeling happier. So soon as things started looking up, out of nowhere, it just went downhill. Like, it went so downhill, yo, like so downhill. Everything bad that you can imagine started happening to me. And obviously it's not just regular things. There's things I haven't shared with you guys, it's just crazy life stuff just started happening to me. And I was just thinking to myself, damn, how come as soon as I tried to change my life, things just started going downhill? I'm not going to get into the things that happened to me to make my life really bad, but I have a couple of explanations, a couple of tips as to why our lives start to get worse before it even gets better. And I think a thing is that our brain is wired to stay in the familiar spots. Unfamiliarity is bad. It's nothing good about it. That's what our brain thinks, In order for our brain to survive and to be happy, it needs to know things, it needs to know places, it needs to know a specific routine. If not, it's going to start panicking, So when we wake up and we say to ourselves, I want to change my life, your brain hears that, yes, but it's nothing. Just because you say something doesn't mean you're going to do it. But when you actually decide to step out of your comfort zone and try to do the thing, your brain is not going to like that because it's new. Our brain doesn't do that because it wants to purposely hold us back, okay? That's not why our brain does that. Our brain does this because that's the best way it can keep us alive. That's the best way it can keep us safe. And it has always been proven time and time again that if you stay with what's familiar, you will be safe, okay? If you look at the big names in the game, the people that did amazing things, a lot of the time they end up putting their life at great risk. But if you stay safe, you decide to work until you're 90 years old, you decide to, stay put, don't overspeak, don't talk about the government, don't do certain things. You just become a law-abiding citizen and do what you have to do. There's a great chance you're gonna make it out, in life and live a very long life. But if you're trying to, do something crazy, something big, something that your family has never done before, it might bring you an early death. You might stress out way too much for your own liking, and your brain doesn't want that. So your brain tries to protect you. It tries to protect us. That's what our brain does. It's our protector. So I understand that. The trick is to do the thing long enough for our brain to start saying, okay, you know what? Maybe this isn't too bad. Maybe we aren't going to die if we do this. Let's make this our new familiar. Just do it long enough for your brain to feel safe. And when you feel safe, that's when you start to slowly transition into the other thing. Now, on the same topic of familiarity, our brain is wired to win. Our brain is designed to win. Everything that you're doing right now, what you're experiencing in life right now, you wanted this. You wanted exactly that to happen. Like, you have this programming inside of you where you say to yourself, this is what I want, this is what I want, and your brain listens to that. You may not think about it consciously, but your brain is like, okay, subconsciously, something is going on back here, and it's overriding your consciousness. It's overriding whatever you think that you want, because what you really want is in your subconscious mind and is driving your life. So until you're able to take that thing from your subconscious mind and bring it forward, you always allow your subconscious mind to drive your life, and you call it faith. So the reason for that really stems from childhood, childhood trauma, all about what happened to you when you were a kid. There's two extremes a child can take when they didn't receive the love that they were supposed to get as a child. One, they can either avoid it all the way, or two, they can really want it. They can chase it a lot, and try to get at that thing all the time. So it's only two things, and both are extremes. So let's say as a child, right? You didn't get the attention you wanted as a child. You grow up, and what you do is you start to subconsciously talk too much. You start to want validation all the time. Like, hey, how about this? Do you like this? You see what I did? You see what I did? Now, what's going to happen is your peers are going to find you annoying, and then they're purposely not going to give you the attention that you want. Now, you see what just happened here? You created what you hate. The child created what he was trying to run away from. And that's what we do. We grow up, and that love that we didn't receive as a child, we start to create it in real life. We start to create what we hate. And then we look around and we say, how come I'm trying to do better? How come I'm trying to change, but this very same thing keeps happening to me? That's why you see sometimes a daughter, her dad was abusive and he was neglectful. She'll end up getting a man who's also abusive and neglectful. It's all about what happened when we were kids. If you grew up in a household where your parents weren't able to pay the rent on time, you notice the lights going off, you notice certain things not matching up, what's going to happen is when you get older, you are going to be trash at money. Remember how I tell you that there's only two ways this can go. You either avoid money or you become extremely terrible at money. So, you might become extremely bad at money. You might it's either you avoid being bad like your parents or you lean towards being bad like your parents. So let's say you lean towards being bad like your parents. You might become extremely bad at money. And no matter how many YouTube videos you watch, how many times you try to save money, you're always consistently going to see that you never have any money. You might leave this job today, look back, see your tax return, and you see how much you made, and you're going to ask yourself, I made this much money? Where did all that money go? So it's that subconscious programming that happens, and it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. You can't tell me it's not frustrating, because we're grown adults and we're still dealing with childlike things. And we're trying to resolve the way we perceive life as a kid just so we can go ahead and be at peace as an adult. And that is such a hard thing to do. I'm telling you this because I myself, man, I'm just now really, really trying to do that. I'm really now just trying to to get that little kid some help. You know, it sounds corny because I always used to say that when I hear people say stuff like, "Oh, that inner child in me," like, all right, bro, I just cálmate, por favor. No, it's annoying, but it's needed. It's needed. If you want to actually change your life and you want to actually do something big and you don't want what I'm talking about to happen to you, you got to look at the little things. You got to fix the little things. Kind of like an athlete. Let's take me for an example. Like I always tell ya, I'm a powerlifter, right? So my squat progression has always been something to admire. I'm gonna say that. I'm gifted in squatting. Now, I never was the type to do things like stretch or really just take care of my hips. I've never been the type to really do that. I've always been the type to just, oh, okay, I squatted, then I leave the gym. I don't do any self-care afterwards. I recently just hit a PR. And when I did, I accidentally tweaked my hamstring. Now, when I look back at the footage, the reason for that is my left hip has been so fried from lifting so heavy that all of the weight got transferred to my right hip, which then forced my hamstring to take over majority of the weight so I can squeeze that last rep out. And because of that, that messed me up tremendously. And I had to take a month off from heavy lifting just so it can heal. You know, but imagine if I did the little things. Imagine if I decided that I was going to go to the physical therapy. I was going to go to the chiropractor. I was actually going to take care of myself. Imagine if I did that. That would have never happened. I would have kept on progressing. I wouldn't have to take a break. It's the same with your life. Do the little things now so that way, as you try to change your life, you don't have to take a massive break because everything went to shit. When you look around, you see that people are constantly doing better than you. They're always doing better than you. You know, it seems like everyone is doing better than you. Because of that, sometimes you get up and you decide, let me try to change my life really fast. Let me try to do this really fast. And when you do that, right, it brings back the unfamiliar thing we were talking about. Imagine you're sitting down wherever you are at right now, and out of nowhere, Piccolo, or who is it that can just transfer people? You know what, never mind. We're gonna scratch that. Out of nowhere, a finger comes, snap, you in the middle of Egypt, out of nowhere. How you gonna feel? How you gonna feel about that? It's gonna be weird, right? You're gonna panic. It's gonna be frustrating. I was just at work. I was just in my bed. I was just doing this and that, watching this black man speak about changing your life. And now I'm in the middle of Egypt. You know, now you're in the middle of Egypt sweating. You got a camel sniffing you, like trying to figure out what you're doing over here. You would be mad. And that's the same way your brain feels when you try to just change your life really fast. When you try to avoid step A, B, C, D, and you try to go all the way to Z, okay? Your brain needs time to adjust. It has to be little steps, little by little. That way, your brain is consistently adjusting to every little steps. And that is the law of the world. That is the law of nature. The mango tree didn't grow in one night. The baby tiger didn't just become an adult tiger the next day. You weren't born and then automatically became whatever age you are now the next day. Everything has a step that they go through. And when you try to go against the grain of that, you are just saying that you think you're better. You think that you're special. And you're not special, yo. You're not. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything has a natural pattern that they have to go through. Every living being has a natural pattern. Everything that, even if it's not a living being, that crib that I'm in, they didn't just poof, make it happen. They had to draw out how it's going to be. They had to do a lot of things for this crib to be the way it is now. So what makes you think that you can just change your life the next day? You're not going to do that. That's what happened to me with the whole, when I decided to change social media and take out certain things out of my life. I decided to do it way too fast. I could have slowed down. I could have taken my time, but instead I wanted to get there really fast. And because of that, I had a deep longing to go back to what was familiar to me. I had a deep longing. And, sometimes we feel like we don't deserve better. We feel like we don't deserve a better life. So we sabotage that. We ruin that because we didn't give ourselves time to process every little step. We jump too fast and we feel like, dang, I don't deserve to be here. I don't deserve this. That's why you see a lot of these kids who are born with a silver spoon. There's nothing wrong with being born with a silver spoon, because I plan to put a silver spoon in my kids' hands whenever I have some. But I'm just saying, when you see kids with a silver spoon, they grow up and they claim everything that daddy had, and everything has been given to them. Sometimes they come to a point where they just hate their life, but that's really because they feel like they don't deserve it. Everything was for their dad, not them. So try to put yourself in a position where you deserve it. You deserve to be there. I don't know if any of y'all have ever read Atomic Habits, but it's a good book. In that book, the third law is to make it attractive. Whatever habit that you're trying to get into right now, make it attractive. Make it appealing. A lot of us, we are attracted to things that are hard because it looks hard, so it must be good. And when I say things that are hard, I'm not talking about like we want to do the things that are hard. We're looking at it and we put more value on it because it looks harder. You know what I mean? When it looks too easy, it's not much value placed on it because you can do it just like that. So because it's harder, you tend to actually go after it more. Now, when you're trying to change your life, going after what's harder is never a good idea. Go after what's easier first. Make it attractive. If it's hard, try to at least make it attractive. Like, say you're trying to quit pH, right? A good way to make that attractive is by saying to yourself, okay, if I don't do any pH this month, I'm gonna treat myself to a brand new game next month, And if you do any pH this month, you're just simply not going to get a new video game. So you're making it attractive. You're setting up goals. You're telling yourself, you do this, you get that. You do this, you get that. At least make it attractive. And that's one of my biggest mistakes when I was trying to change my life, is that I didn't make it attractive enough. I was just looking at the hard things. I was like, I quit Instagram, I quit this, I quit that. I'm working on my finances, and I was just so strict on myself, but I didn't give myself any little fun, okay, if I stay consistent with this, if I save this amount of money and I do this right, on this day, I'm going on a cruise or I'm going out of the country. I didn't celebrate. I didn't make it attractive. So don't make that mistake. Try to make whatever you're doing, whatever you're aiming for, as attractive as possible. Because when you do that, you're going to always want to do it. Who doesn't want to go after something attractive, An attractive woman, you go after that. An attractive car, you go after that. An attractive habit that'll make you better in the long run, you definitely go after that. So, yeah, this was the little things that I had to say about why when you try to change your life, it gets worse. So yeah, try to follow that. And hopefully you don't end up in my spot. Thank you for watching.